Is this the Naxos clone to get right now? Muharib from the brand of Maison Asrar. Let's talk about this fragrance today. Hey guys, I'm George, the nice smelling gentleman, and it's time for your dose of some fragrance content. It's also time to talk about a very hyped up fragrance in the past couple of months that comes from the brand of Maison Asrar, and it's called Muharib. This one being hyped up as a great Naxos clone. I know quite a few of you have asked about this fragrance, especially since I did a review of a tick from Nusuk a couple of days ago, which is also another interesting clone of Naxos. So let's talk about this one today. I've had this for about 2 weeks now, maybe slightly over 2 weeks. I've been testing this one quite a few times already, so I'm ready to talk about Muharib. Now, let's, as usual, start by taking a very quick look at the packaging and the presentation. The fragrance comes packed in this brownish colored box with golden accents. On the front you got the name of the fragrance, the concentration, EDP, the bottle size, 100 milliliters, along with this, like, I don't know what figure this actually is. It looks a little bit like a mummy or like a Bedouin or something like that. On the back you get some additional information, along with a production date which was stamped somewhere. Yeah, it's September of 2025, so at the end of the September of 2025. It's an interesting way to open up the box. It opens up like this. It has magnetic edges, and overall this is quite a nice presentation without feeling like super high quality of being of super high quality. Still though, it's quite nice. And then this is the bottle design. It's kind of interesting and very different. It looks like a statue or something like that sits on top of like a placeholder. You have this frosted glass finish on the bottle. The cap is plastic, but it's a snug fit. And this fragrance, let me show you the sprayer, because this is one of the strongest sprayers on a fragrance that I've ever seen in my life. In fact, this doesn't feel like a sprayer, this feels like a mini shower, because I don't know if the camera can do justice of the sprayer itself, but this puts a lot of fragrance out. And definitely this is probably the strongest sprayer that I've seen, at least in the past couple of years. But enough about packaging, presentation and all that stuff. Let's talk about the scent of Maison Asrar's Muharib now. Okay, let me use one spray, which probably equals 2 or 3 sprays of most other fragrances that I have in my collection, on my left arm. And let's talk about the scent of Muharib. As I said, this is definitely a Naxos clone, and it's definitely a great Naxos clone. It opens up very similar to the original fragrance, meaning that you'll get some citruses, you'll get a lavender. The lavender, you'll get some of the sweetness from Naxos, like honey and vanillic sweetness. You'll get the tobacco. Basically, it opens up very close to Naxos, but still it's not identical. Naxos on my skin and from my personal experience feels a little bit more aromatic. The lavender note is a little bit stronger than what you'll find in here. Feels a little bit more airy, a little bit more diffusive. Maison Asrar's Muharib feels a little bit thicker. It feels like it's slightly sweeter than Naxos, and also like having a slightly stronger tobacco note, with the lavender toned down and also the citruses a little bit toned down. Basically, this smells super close to Naxos, but slightly darker, slightly more tobacco-y, slightly sweeter and slightly thicker overall. But in the air, this smells almost identical to Naxos, and it's a very close. Now, the more this dries down, the closer it gets to Naxos, and it's on its deep dry down, this feels almost identical, but still this feels like being a little bit thicker, a little bit darker, slightly more tobacco-y, and on the dry down I pick up a hint of some amber, something that I don't get out of the original fragrance. The sweetness in the original fragrance comes across as being like a mix between the honey, that famous honey note in the original, and some vanillic sweetness. In here this feels more like a combination of honey and ambers, maybe with a hint of vanilla, but definitely this feels a little bit more ambery than the original, slightly darker, slightly thicker, slightly sweeter, slightly more tobacco-y. But again, I'm talking about a very small differences here, and again, on its dry down this smells almost identical, and probably people who are not familiar with Naxos or don't own Naxos, only have tried it, probably won't be able to pick up the difference, especially in the air. Overall, this is a very good take at Naxos with high quality, very nice scent profile that comes across like almost identical to Naxos with a few minor differences, and I've been quite happy with Muharib from Maison Asrar. When it comes to the performance of this fragrance, it's been a strong performing scent, you know, straight out of the box, and probably out of now I have, I think, a total of 5 clones of Naxos. This is probably the one that felt the strongest straight out of the box. Now, some of that strong performance may come down to the fact that this has a very strong sprayer, as I said, and it simply puts a lot more fragrance out on your skin and on your clothes. Maybe that's the case, I'm not exactly sure, but again, straight out of the box, this has been the strongest Naxos clone that I have tried. If we talk about the exact numbers, I've been easily getting 9, maybe even up to 10 hours of performance, and that's on my skin. I know some people have reported this being more on the average side when it comes to performance, but on my skin this has been pretty strong. Also, this projects really nicely in the first about 2 hours, and definitely when it comes to the actual performance, this rivals the original scent. Now, when it comes to the price tag, this is right now, I think, the most expensive clone of Naxos, at least currently, because Fertile Luna used to be a little bit more expensive. With time, prices have dropped a little bit. This because it's relatively new on the markets. You know, this goes for around about 55 up to 60 euros, or around about $60-70 in the US, and right now this is the most expensive Middle Eastern clone of Naxos. There are good reasons for that, because this has good quality, good performance, and smells pretty close to the original fragrance. But I think one of the reasons why this is a little bit more expensive at the moment is because it's a brand new release and because it's been hyped up a little bit. But yeah, those are the prices right now. When it comes to versatility, this is like a slightly more masculine take on Naxos, and feels ever so slightly less versatile than Naxos, because this feels a little bit less airy and less diffusive, less aromatic than Naxos. This is like a Naxos slightly more orientated towards the colder months of the year, and like a slightly more masculine take of Naxos on Naxos. But if you don't overspray this one, you can probably wear it in the summertime, especially at nighttime. And at the end, a few very quick final words about Maison Asrar's Muharib. And I will try to answer the question from the opening of the video: is this the Naxos clone to get at the moment? Well, this is a great fragrance. This is a great take at Naxos that smells very close to the original fragrance, that offers nice quality and offers strong performance. Straight out of the box, this has been the strongest clone of Naxos that I have, and when it comes to the scent profile, this probably, along with Fertile Luna, feel the two closest ones to Naxos. But they're slightly different to each other. Fertile Luna feels slightly fresher than Naxos. This feels slightly darker than Naxos. But overall, this is a very solid release from Maison Asrar, and the hype about this one is real. Just don't overpay for this fragrance. But at the moment, if you want to get as close as possible to Naxos, you should probably go either with this one or Fertile Luna. Now, people are going to ask about a full comparison, and I'm going to do that. You know, a fragrance battle is coming your way in the next few weeks. First of all, though, I want to get my hands on a bottle of Rayhaan Italica, or Italia, which is the newest clone of Naxos that comes from the brand of Rayhaan. I hope that I can get it in the next couple of weeks. Once I do that and I do some testing on that Rayhaan, I will definitely do a fragrance battle where I will compare all the clones of Naxos that I have. But so far, right now, Maison Asrar Muharib is a very impressive release, and I would say, again, along with Fertile Luna, is one of the two best options that you have when it comes to a clone of Naxos. Overall, I've been really happy with this fragrance. So guys, in today's video, I reviewed a great cologne of Xerjoff's Naxos that comes from the brand of Maison Asrar, and it's called Muharib. It's been very hyped up, but for a good reason. Just don't overpay for this one. I hope that you found today's video interesting or helpful. As usual, if you did, give it a like. And I also hope that you're going to join me in my next video for your dose of some fragrance content. And until then, stay safe and bye-bye.